There are stories humanity tries to forget, stories buried so deep that the earth itself seems to hold its breath, as if whispering, "Don't dig here." But we always dig, because curiosity is both our gift and our curse. This is one of those stories, a story about obsession, fear, and the darkness that hides behind ordinary faces. A story that haunted a city for decades. This is the dark truth behind the Monster of Florence. It begins in the soft golden hills of Tuscany, a region that looks like a painting come to life. Rolling vineyards, stone villas, and narrow roads lined with cypress trees. To most, it's paradise. But starting in the late 1960s, paradise hid a predator. The first bodies were found in 1968, but the pattern truly began in 1974. A young couple parked in a secluded spot, their car windows fogged from the warm summer air. When police arrived, they found something out of a nightmare. The couple had been brutally murdered, their bodies mutilated in a way that defied understanding. The killer had taken something personal, something ritualistic. At first, authorities thought it was a crime of passion, an isolated act, but then it happened again, and again. Each time, a couple. Each time, in a quiet, hidden area where lovers went to escape the world. And each time, the same gruesome signature. The Italian press gave him a name, Il Mostro di Firenze, the Monster of Florence. For nearly 2 decades, the monster stalked the outskirts of Florence. Between 1968 and 1985, at least 16 people were murdered. 16 lives, erased in silence under the moonlight. The killer never left fingerprints. He never took money. Only trophies. Always the same kind. It was as if he wasn't killing for pleasure, but for a purpose. The police were desperate. Suspects came and went, from jealous lovers to local farmers and deranged hunters. But nothing ever stuck. Entire investigative teams were replaced, careers were destroyed, and reputations ruined. And still, the monster vanished back into the hills after each attack. The press turned the case into a national obsession. Florence, once a city of art and beauty, became a city of paranoia. Young couples stopped going out at night. Parents locked their doors. Taxi drivers refused to drive down certain roads. Everyone suspected everyone. And the more people talked, the darker the rumors became. Some said the monster was a surgeon, that the precision of the wounds meant he knew anatomy. Others whispered that it wasn't a man at all, but a cult. A group of wealthy men performing satanic rituals, using the victims as offerings. There were whispers of black masses, of ancient Tuscan symbols carved into trees, of strange fires seen in the distance at night. And while most dismissed this as hysteria, police records later revealed something chilling. Many of the crime scenes did have strange details that were never released to the public. Ritualistic patterns, small markings near the bodies, objects deliberately arranged as if part of a larger ceremony. Years passed. Suspects were arrested, and confessions were made, but none of them matched the evidence. One man, a farmer named Pietro Pacciani, was convicted. He was described as violent, erratic, and cruel. The perfect monster. But then the conviction was overturned, and Pacciani died suddenly before a retrial could happen. Some said he was silenced. Others said the police had the wrong man all along. The deeper investigators looked, the more the case seemed to rot from within. Evidence disappeared. Witnesses retracted their statements. One officer died under strange circumstances. Another went missing entirely. It was as if something or someone wanted this case to remain unsolved. By the early 2000s, the monster had become legend, a ghost story mothers told their children, a warning to never trust the dark. But then, new evidence surfaced. An Italian journalist unearthed a forgotten police report that described the murders as part of a commissioned killing ritual. He claimed the victims' body parts were being used for occult practices tied to a secret elite circle. And here's where the story takes a disturbing turn. Some of the names connected to the investigation had powerful ties to politics, law enforcement, and even the Vatican. If true, it meant that the monster wasn't one man at all, but a web of people protecting each other, hiding behind power and secrecy. Every death, a sacrifice. Every silence, a warning. And if you think that sounds too far-fetched, consider this. One of the detectives involved later said on record, "We stopped investigating the monster when we realized who he might really be." He never said more. Weeks later, he was found dead. The cause? Heart failure. But no one really believed that. Today, the monster's legend has grown into something almost mythological. Books, films, and podcasts, each one trying to piece together the puzzle. And yet, the deeper you go, the less clear the truth becomes. Because what if the monster wasn't just a killer? What if he was a reflection of something far older? A hunger buried in the human soul. Look at Florence now. The same hills, the same narrow roads, the same shadows stretching across the fields at dusk. Tourists walk through them without knowing that beneath their feet lies the blood of those who died in silence. Some say, on certain nights, you can still hear faint music, like a car radio playing from nowhere, a reminder of lovers who never made it home. And then there are the letters, dozens of them, sent anonymously to journalists and police over the years. Some contained information only the killer would know. Others held cryptic messages, verses, riddles, religious references. One simply said, "The harvest isn't over." Was it a warning? A taunt? Or was it the truth? That the monster was never caught because he was never just one person? Some even believe he's still out there, or that his legacy was passed down generation to generation. A ritual that never stopped, a secret that still breathes. It's strange how time works, how a story can fade from headlines, yet remain alive in whispers, in every dark alley, every lonely road, every flickering light at the edge of a forest. The Monster of Florence may have vanished from sight, but not from memory. Because evil doesn't always hide in monsters. Sometimes it hides in men, and sometimes in the systems that protect them. This is the story of the Monster of Florence, but it's also a mirror, a reflection of how far humanity will go to protect its own darkness. A reminder that even in the most beautiful places on Earth, the ugliest secrets can take root. Maybe the monster was just one man, maybe it was many, or maybe it was all of us. Because the scariest thing about monsters is how human they really are. And as you listen to this story, ask yourself, when the night is quiet and the world is asleep, how much of the darkness outside lives inside you? Thank you for watching. If this story left you with questions, let me know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into the darkness. Stay safe out there.